Hi, this is Ray. Welcome to my workshop. Not much talk today. This is a build update. My thanks to my friends who have subscribed. I've hit over 1,000 subs since my last post. Thank you very much. I plan to keep going for as long as you continue to like it. Today I will share the inlay color, shell work, main body die, headstock design and build, and finally a pre-fitting of all the components. Starting to look like a guitar, starting to look good. I am going to ask you for a little bit of feedback, a question on finishing at the end. So please give me some comments on that. Otherwise, please enjoy the video. So here's where we left off. Not very exciting yet. Blue body over flame maple, red black wings with dye and shell, and a yellow belly with shell veneer. When you start dyeing with this stuff, man, yellow is yellow. And I start dyeing each individual part. It's looking cartoonish, but that gets fixed at a later point. I'm starting to love what the blue's doing and the flame maple. So check this out. So here we start with a very, very thin sheet of pressed shell. These look great when they're polished up, but straight out of the box they are very, very thin. They need some work. So you see here I'm gluing them directly to my cutouts, and when it's done I'm able to have a perfectly strong, perfectly good looking piece of shell. Check this out. Pretty nice, huh? Bam. Here's the part where it starts getting beautiful. I'm using crimson stains and to give a blue and black look, I'm going for something that looks like the bottom of the ocean with the sea creature rising out of it. So we'll see how this turns out. Fortunately, next step, I sand it back. The whole idea here is get to the deep figuring so I get that to show through the main stain. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I kept going back and forth more than just the 2 times I'm going to show you here. But I like the way it turned out in the end. For a traditional burst look with this black on the outside, but I still want it to be a little bit lighter than that, so I'm going to sand it back some, like that. Now, here we go for the headstock. You can do just about anything with the headstock. I always try to start with a bit of a art piece, not worrying too much about accuracy, just kind of staring at it. I wanted to go for head of a dragon, to kind of play out with the rest of the guitar. I wasn't so sure about this, but I thought I would start with that. Then from there you move on to a little bit closer to accurate. This is kind of what I call standoff scale or close, but you can't lay everything out by hand. So get to the point where you have actual pieces of metal in your hand and working it through, and start thinking this through. I'd say Ben at Crimson does this a lot. He works through it in his hand. And to be honest with you, it works most of the time. And I'm about to show you this didn't completely work out as planned. Well, that's an interesting problem. So I would have thought that the string spacing and hole spacing on the Crimson kit would match the PRS exactly. I am looking at it, and at least with the stock PRS hardware, it looks like the spacing here on this one is too close. Because if I turn them to be completely 90 degrees with each other, they interfere with each other, which means the spacing is a little bit farther apart, and I'd say 60 thousandths or so on the PRS than on the Crimson. So that's an interesting problem. I don't think it's an issue to angle the tuners just a little bit. In fact, it kind of looks good. I like that, but that's a problem. I'd not seen that, and if I look at my current headstock, I pulled this off, these did not have that problem. So interesting. So I carefully measure out each piece at this point. The big thing I could mess up is not end up with this being symmetrical. So careful layout, and in the end, I like how it turned out. You see in these photos, it looks like it's planned, and I really would have done this anyway, probably. Now for the shape of the headstock. I did not want to leave a PRS shape, and I wanted to get a little bit of that dragon look into the headstock, even though I'm starting to step away from my idea of the dragon at this point. Now for the truss rod cover, or actually the color on the top of the guitar. I'm going away from the literal look of the dragon and kind of just referencing it now. But I always thought I could have these little wings hung out off the end that would mimic like the horns of the dragon. Nothing like holding it in your hand to see that that's not going to work exactly like I thought. So you'll see that coming up. Only took me a few seconds to realize looking at it that this was going to interfere a bit with your hand no matter how far back I put it. So going to the original plan and then back to this, I always thought the dragon head was a little literal. I figured trim those off nice and neat, make it blue, it'll look good with the guitar. So that was the new plan. Well, I ended up liking really how this looks on the guitar. I liked it so much, I decided I did not want to have any fasteners in it. So what I've decided to do is I have some rare earth magnets that I've used in the past, and these work out real nice for a hold down for these. And might need one hidden fastener, but I think this is going to do it. So you won't see any fasteners in the headstock of the guitar. Okay, one last section. Each of these pieces was set up to be above flush, but the more I looked at it, the more I thought the shell ones needed to be dropped down. So that took a lot of work, a few hours of individually sanding each piece and very carefully taking it over and sanding each one down. So I'll walk through that process real quick with you if you enjoy it. Hey, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider hitting like and subscribe. I would like your feedback on the final finish. I'm leaning towards oil, but glossy urethane or something like that sounds like it would be cool too. Tell me what you think. We'll see you in a few weeks. Be safe.